Good morning class, I am your history teacher and today is 24th of June. We are in the second part of the lesson, the Indus Valley Civilization. In the first part we covered about what the civilization is, how old is the civilization and what were the basic or the main cities of the civilization. We saw that it is a 4500 years ago there was a civilization named as Indus Valley Civilization. And there were two main cities that basically ruled in this. One was Mohenjo-daro and the other was Harappa. We have been seeing about we saw that it had the Indus Valley Civilization or the Mohenjo-daro and Harappa are basically known to be a planned city. Planned city is one which has every modern facilities, which has every bit of it is planned. Means all the houses were built in a proper way, the road was on a proper side, the constructions were led in such a way that it does not impact or does not affect the other sides of the house. The drainage system, most important, the drainage system was so well equipped or so well planned that all the drains of the houses met the main drains of the town, met the main towns of the cities. This system, this drainage system has been followed today. We have been following the same system. What we do when we construct a house, when we build a house, we point out the drainage system in such a manner that all the drains of the house, all the wastewater of the house goes out into one direction and meets the main city's drainage. This system has come from the Indus Valley civilization of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa civilization only. I told you these two cities have been basically categorized into two parts. One was the citadel and the other was the lower town. On that particular day, in our last class, we read about or we came across the citadel. What the citadel is, I just put a small recap. Citadel is the raised part of land. The raised part of a building is called citadel. Basically, it was done for in order to protect the common masses, common people from the floods, from the unwanted rain that came and that could have drowned them. So it was built on a high roof area or a high area so that the rain did not affect them or the floods did not affect them at any cost. The other was the lower part or lower town. Today we will cover about the lower town, what lower town is, what were the building constructions, how they remained protected, and what were the houses made of or how were the houses built. And then we will see the drainage system of the lower town, what was the drainage system planning and the occupations of the people during those times, which type of occupation they chose to and what all work they did, be it a farming only, pot making or different sort of works they were engaged in. So we'll just have a glance of all the events that took place 4500 years ago. History is all about to know what happened in the past so that the lessons can be learned and a better planning can be done for the future. This is the importance or this is the main reason why we study history. Just to learn from the our past what our ancestors have gone through and what we are supposed to go through. So this is the connection that we need to create. I will start with the lower town. Outside the citadel was the lower town inhabited by petty merchants, craftsmen and laborers. The main part of the lower town was divided into rectangular blocks with wide roads cutting each other at right angles. Now, the main town was built on a rectangular block. Rectangular block means basically of houses made of bricks only. Now, there is a logic behind why it was made so or why the rectangular blocks were used. The reason is the first and the utmost region that comes from 4500 ago when we see or the type of planning they had in their mind. If we calculate it today, if we see it today, the one thing is clear that they were afraid of some sort of unnatural disasters. I mean, that could take place which is beyond our control, that we cannot have a control over it. So they had a plan in mind since there were very few of the facilities or very less facilities were there. That is why they had a different logic behind the engineering or the engineers had a different logic behind building any buildings of those times. So the rectangular block today we use 3D dimension figure, three dimensional figures. Three-dimensional figure is the one that we can see of any side. We can see the only two parts of it. Like for example, this one we can see this side, this side. We cannot see the lower part of it. So in order to see the lower part of it, we have come across three-dimensional figure. Three-dimensional figure shows the bottom part of it. This is basically used in the car industry or heavy industry. Like for example, cars, upper part and the side part we can see, but we cannot see the beneath part, the lower part of it. So for that, 3D dimensional figures are used, 3D dimensional diagrams are used through which we can read what is underneath. Now rectangular blocks over here basically were built on the basis of 3D dimension only. Means just to protect the houses or the buildings of those times from the unnatural disasters, be it a flood or the rains that actually impacted the social life of the people. In order to protect or in order to keep them safe, it was used. Rectangular blocks were used in the form of bricks or different sort of here. The main part of the lower town road was divided into rectangular blocks, while wide roads cutting each other at right angles. Right angles were used. Okay. Here, drainage system. Here, one can see the remains of brick houses and the drainage system. The remains of drainage bricks and the drainage system was visible. After the excavation was done, later part when the civilization got over, or when it was existed in the, it did not exist in the any part of the country. So later on, the researchers or the historians, when they discovered, when they examined the different parts, when they dug out the area, they found that the bricks were there, rectangular block bricks were there. Then there was a scope for drainage system. Means the people had a very rightward planning about their building structure. They knew how to create or how to make a building, and they used all the modern facilities that we have today, all the facilities that we use today. It's just from them only that we have learned. The cities probably had street lights because remains of lamp posts have been discovered along the roads. Now this is what we do. This is the modern equipment that we even see that on our roads, even both sides. When you go to Delhi, Mumbai and all, here we don't see usually, but in big cities, usually on the left and right hand side, both sides there are street lights carved on the roads even. So same can be seen during the Indus Valley civilization. The people over there, they had a street lights basically on the roadside. So the system was, although the logic was just to lighten the place and just to keep themselves safe. So this is we have been, the history has done its work. Whatever history was told to or whatever history was made, that we have been following. History is all about to teach us. History teaching us how our ancestors lived, how did they grow, and we have whatever good elements are there, we have been copying them. Until today, we have been following them. So this was the logic of history. This was the logic of the prior times that we see. The next point is houses. How were the houses built in those days? In the lower town, houses were 1 or 2 storied high. Now it had 1 or 2 storied high. Today many stories will go till 10 or 12 stories we can go. But during those times 1 or 2, the maximum was 2 that we can see. It means they let the foundation that building can be created upon the building. This was the concept which was given by ancestors only, by our historians only. So same we have been following. Okay, if the base is strong, we can have a upper building or upper part of it. In the lower town, the houses were 1 or 2 storied high. They were made of baked bricks and were built along narrow straight lanes. Every house had 2 or more rooms with small windows, a bathroom, a kitchen and a courtyard. Almost every house had a well. Now, we see the city planning. We saw how the cities were planned, how the drainage system were planned. Now, how the interiors were planned. That is the topic talks about how the interiors were designed. It had a room, it had a courtyard, it had a kitchen, it had a lawn room. So all the derivations that we see even today, when we construct a building, we even go for the same, that there should be 2 rooms, there should be 1 kitchen, there should be 1 bathroom, there should be 1 sitting area. So these are the basic descriptions that we have been following. We have come across this only from our ancestors, from our historians have discovered that during the Indus Valley civilization or the Mohenjo-daro and Harappa cities followed so and so system of building constructions. So this has been followed, by us even today. Almost every house had a well. The source of water that is generated during those times were well. Even in the Majesty Ganj, all the houses during the Britishers' time, all the houses that you see has a well over here. Every house has a well now. Now, all the modern houses that they have been constructing now, they are going for underground water, be it in a well or be it in a tap, be it in a hand pump or some other sources. But during those times, all the houses were built during those times had a drainage system, had a well system through which the waters were used for different purposes of life. The next point is drainage system. What was the drainage system? It is a lot talked about drainage system, that it is a well planned city. The drainage system was most specialized one because we have been following the same sort of what drainage system is all about. The houses had a very good drainage system. The kitchen and the bathroom had drains connected to the covered main drain running alongside the main road. Wherever the main road goes, along the main road there is a drainage system, and that drainage system is connected from every house. Every house makes a joint pipe, joint hole through which the exit of all the waste goes and leads to that main drain of the city, that which passes through the roadside. So whichever house is near the roadside or whichever house is along the roadside, what they will do, they will just leak out or they will just put it out a pipe or a medium through which that they can connect their house drain into the main drain of the city. So drainage system was most efficient. During the rainy seasons, even all the waters on the roads or different streets could gather and could fall on that pit only or into that drain only. So this was very well planned one. Today even we follow the same sort of logic. We will follow the same sort of drainage system, and that is very useful even. No water remains at one place, and all the wastage of water, all the what do you call, all the dirty water gets out of the town. Next topic is life of the people. What were people engaged in? What occupations they were following? What sort of income they were generating? What was their economic background? How did they come up? What all work they did? So life of the people, occupation. The Indus people had many different occupations. They were farmers, weavers, potters, metal workers, toy makers, jewelers, stone cutters and traders. These were the different works they were involved in. So basic works or basic sort of livelihood through which they created were different works. So we'll focus on farming. Some sort of works are mentioned over here, some sort of descriptions are mentioned over here. We'll see. The first was farming. We have already seen that they were involved in farming. They grew the wheat and all because the granary at Mohenjo-daro shows that they actually believed in the growing of crops. The Indus farmers grew wheat, barley, gram, peas, maize and millets. They were the first to grow cotton in India. They used plugs and sickles and different methods of irrigations. They domesticated many animals including oxen, buffaloes, goats, sheep, pigs, donkeys and camels. Now they produced different type of crops. They were the growers of different types of crops. At the same time, they used all the domestic animals for the purpose of cultivation, for the purpose of farming. Now, this system has been followed by our ancestors everywhere. Even our ancestors, even our farmers, even today, they even use it. They use the oxen, they use the buffalo, they use the donkeys for different methods of cultivation, for different methods of carrying of loads. So this have come from the Indus Valley civilization only. Basically, they use all the available resources which were available during that particular point of time. They have used in the most efficient manner. The next was pot making. They had some sort of interest, or they had an art in their hands, so they involved themselves into pot making even. The people were skilled in the use of potter's wheel. Pots were made with fine clay and then glazed and decorated. The first was pot making. They used the different muds or different sort of red sandstone to build something, and then they designed it, they decorated it, they gave some sort of descriptions. You can find it even when you go to your villages or when you go to your ancestors' house. So, you will find some sort of remains, like some sort of dishes should be there, some sort of metal should be there, which should be still within at your home. You can see some decorations are there, and it is so strong that even it does not break today. Even it is as it is at that time. Means the quality of the product was very high, very efficient. That is why it is it laid a great emphasis in the market. The next work that they were involved in was toy making and a sculpture. Making terracotta, that is burnt clay. Burnt clay is called terracotta. Making terracotta toys, figures of animals and statues was a major industry. A large number of playthings like miniature cards, dice, marble, maize, squirrels and Thai bullock whose head moves at the pull of string have been exhibited. Statues such as that of beard shawl clad men show that artistic skills of Indian craftsmen. Now, Indian craftsmen were very skilled. Something they knew, something they learned. They were eager to learn something new. So, with their mastery over the art, they kept on crafting something or the other. They kept on crafting something or the other. Means whatever they like the Indian farming style. They like how we pull the oxen or how we cultivate. That those figures in the mind were drawn. So whatever imaginations were there, that was given a mastery piece, that was given a artistic skill through the medium of pottery making. The next was spinning and weaving, spinning of wheels and weaving. A piece of woven cloth unearthed at Mohenjo-daro, clay spindles and the statue of a shawl-clad man are evidences that people were skilled in the art of spinning and weaving. Spinning and weaving means basically all those that will move for communication purpose, that will use for the movement purpose. They use some sort of wheels. So some sort of wheels were actually made from the either from the iron or from some terracotta metals, terracotta equipment, which were actually very strong. They used to carry or they used different sort of ornaments to design some sort of wheels, some sort of a spins to create a logic in the market, create a logic in the minds of the people that this can be used for different purposes. Weaving was another profession that people chose over there. When you come to the later part of the history, you see that Kabir by profession was a weaver. He was by profession he was a weaver. So weaving was an art that people practiced during that time. Next was metal casting. Metals were casted in order to give it a fine touch, in order to give some new shapes of it. The Indus people produced tools and weapons of copper and bronze. The bronze statue of a dancing girl shows their mastery in the art of bronze casting. Now they drew, after the casting of metals, they drew something out of it. They actually made potters or they made some statues of someone. Okay, those were the actually the mastery work of, those were the art work of the Indus people. They had an interest over there and they proved their skills through different paintings, through different statues. Building and industry, building industry. The building industry provided employment to a large number of people. Brick making was an important craft. Brick making. Today when brick making is a craft only, people were involved in the brick making. Why? Because all the constructions during those times even, we find it that those were made of the rectangular block of bricks only. So brick was an important source for the employment purpose even. People were employed with the help of brick making. Seal making. More than 2,000 seals have been exerted from different sites. Seal making is basically all the seals that you put in somewhere. One seal that you get from the school with a monogram of it. So seal making was another occupation or another employment source which people followed in those days. And basically the reason was for giving an impression of something, for giving a what do you call it, value of something, or for making it a unique product that the people are drawing, people are making. So today I'll keep it till here. Tomorrow we'll see the rest part of the chapter. And I've already sent you the PDF of it. Please go through and read. And by the end of the chapter, I'll be sending you the question answers. If you have any doubts, you can put it up in the WhatsApp group, or you can contact me directly between 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Thank you, class.